Today I'm going to be answering the question, what percentage of our behavior is from the subconscious mind? My name is Paul Tobey from Training Business Pros. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. This is an important question and one that gets asked a lot. People wonder the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and that's what we're going to go through today. But first of all, let me just say it absolutely controls your behavior. And I think you recognize that if your behavior is not where you want it to be, it's actually the subconscious mind that's creating it. Also, it's where you store your worry, your fear, and your doubt. And finally, you absolutely need to be able to ditch old non-empowering habits and replace them with new ones. And because the subconscious mind is controlling our habits, then you need to know how to reprogram it in order to create new, more empowering habits. And of course, you're wondering also the original question, what percentage of our mind is actually the subconscious mind? And we're going to dive into it in just a second. Okay, so it's Paul Tobey here once again, and we're discussing the subconscious mind this morning. I believe it's an important subject. And if you are thinking, does the subconscious mind have a lot of control over what I do? And the answer is yes. So what I'd like to do is just draw you a little diagram of how I came to understand the subconscious mind. So let's just create a person here. If this is the mind here, the way I've come to understand it is that the frontal part of the mind is the more conscious mind, and that's responsible for approximately 10% of brain mass. Now, of course, this is not taking into consideration left hemisphere, right hemisphere, left being the more logical side, right being the more creative side, but the conscious mind is what perceives. So whatever you see, hear, taste, touch, smell, that's how the conscious mind reacts and perceives things to be happening. Then that leaves 90%, which is obviously a lot more, and that's the subconscious mind. I often ask the question in seminars, it's like, what is the 90%? And some people say, it is the unconscious mind, but it's not. It's the subconscious mind. Unconscious is obviously when you're unconscious or sleeping. And even though some things are happening during that time, we're really talking about your waking state. And because the brain is built up of a cajillion neurons, all interconnecting, there's about as many neurons as the brain as there are stars in the universe, so it's a lot. What happens is the conscious mind perceives something and then it immediately looks for a reference point. So let's say you see something. Immediately the conscious mind refers to stored files in your neurons, and it's looking for things like memory or opinion, beliefs, anything that has happened in the past in order to create some kind of reference point for what is happening. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're having financial difficulties. So what the conscious mind does is it goes, okay, I don't have enough money to buy groceries, and then it seeks for a reference point in the subconscious mind. It's like, how do we deal with that? And because most of that has been programmed, your memory and your opinions and beliefs, by your environment, if you've always struggled with money, then the reference point is, oh, well, that's too bad. It is what it is. And of course, you know that it's very difficult to change that belief system. So what you have to do, and what I've learned to do, is set aside any of these non-empowering beliefs. So in that area lives worry, fear, and doubt. So if you're talking about, for example, relationships, My fear of relationships is that I'm always rejected or that people think less of me. And it's very hard to meet people and be on their level, or whatever your feelings are about relationships. You tend to attract the same things over and over again because the subconscious mind is like a vault of beliefs that keep you where you are. They are pre-programmed situations, circumstances, beliefs, opinions, memories, all which design your future, because it's very difficult to set these aside. But that's what you have to do. You kind of have to cut a path into the brain and say, okay, thanks so much for sharing. That's what we used to believe. I choose now to believe and behave a different way. Let's take another example. Let's say you have a habit of procrastinating. So what you do with the procrastination is you continue to perpetuate that situation over and over again, because that's the way the subconscious mind behaves. It's the way it's been programmed. My belief is I can't get things done. I consistently put things off. So what you need to do is you need to say to your mind, thanks for sharing. I recognize that I've had difficulties in the past with procrastination. I choose to move forward now and in the moment. And that means you need to insert larger, more empowering beliefs and habits. It's like reprogramming a piece of software or a computer. It's up to you to decide to change. But the subconscious mind is so powerful, it is 90% of the brain, which obviously answers our original question, which is, what percentage of the brain is responsible for our behaviors? And it's literally 90%, which is the subconscious mind. And because it's so powerful, it acts literally like a magnet. If you can, just draw a magnet in here. And what it tends to do is attract the same situations and circumstances over and over again until you decide to insert more empowering habits and beliefs and behaviors and opinions. And then what happens is it tends to rewrite the software of your subconscious mind. And when you rewrite the software of your subconscious mind, then you start to attract, just like a magnet, new situations, new circumstances based on that belief system, based on those habits and behaviors that you're creating and reprogramming. Some of the things that you can do is you can create more self-discipline by reprogramming the subconscious mind to actually do things on a consistent basis. So, for example, let's say you're not that disciplined when it comes to working on your business or working at a specific task or project, and you're consistently putting it off and procrastinating. The actual act of doing something and programming that into the calendar and sticking to that time frame creates more self-discipline, adds more of those empowering files into your brain. What it can also do is it helps you act more on faith versus fear. Faith is believing in something when common sense, which is our subconscious mind, that's the common sense that's been programmed into it. Faith means believing in something even with the absence of proof. And so you have to believe something in order to create it. That's the difference between faith and fear. The problem is there's been so much fear and worry and doubt programmed into our subconscious minds over the years by friends, family members, colleagues, teachers, the media. It's very difficult to change that. And so that's my take on the subject of subconscious mind. Try to remember that if you're going to even begin to reprogram the subconscious mind, you're going to need a reason to do that. And the reason is always, what do I want to do, be, or have in my life that I don't have right now? That's your number one reason for reprogramming, because in order to get what you want, you're going to have to change that 90% of the mind that just doesn't believe it's possible. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. It's Tobey here. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. When you do, it lets us know your level of interest and will help us create more content just like this for you and other people just like you. If you have any questions or comments about the content, please post them below and we'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks for your time.